Hi, the SI meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Thursday, January 23rd. A brutally cold morning here in the Mid-Atlantic region. The second night in a row with temperatures near zero in many of the suburbs in Philadelphia. It dropped to zero at Dulles International Airport in Virginia, just outside of Washington, D.C. Currently just in the upper single digits across New York City. 9 degrees at Central Park at last hour. Quite an impressive pattern that will continue well into next week and perhaps beyond that. Many more Arctic air outbreaks are in the offing for the Mid-Atlantic region. This particular air mass is causing some record lows or near record lows up and down the East Coast, and here's the very latest look at some of the areas in blue here where there are record lows or near record lows, all the way from the Mid-Atlantic region out to Minnesota and down to Florida. The coldest temperature I could find this morning was about 30 below in Pittsburgh, New Hampshire, and all the way down in Florida where there were freeze warnings all night long. It is currently 32 degrees at Daytona Beach. Again, bitter cold conditions throughout the Mid-Atlantic region. Lake Erie is reportedly now covered by 94% ice cover. That's the highest amount for this time of the year in about 20 years, since about 1996. And probably the most amazing of all with regard to this latest cold air outbreak is way down here in southeastern Texas. There are winter storm warnings right now for Galveston and Houston. They expect some frozen precipitation in the near term, and that's quite amazing when you have winter storm warnings all the way to the southeast coast of Texas. Well, we just won't be able to shake this pattern of getting reinforcing Arctic air masses into the northeastern part of the country. Another one moves in overnight tonight. That ensures that temperatures will drop to the single digits once again up and down the I-95 corridor for the third night in a row, and that is a rarity indeed in this part of the country. Another Arctic front moves into the Mid-Atlantic region on Saturday, and that could be accompanied by some snow, perhaps on the order of an inch or two in southeastern Pennsylvania, all the way up to New York City, probably a little bit less than that down in the D.C. region. Very cold conditions on Sunday will be followed by yet another frontal system on Monday. That particular system could develop into a mid-Atlantic storm. We'll have to watch for that. The Monday system has a little bit more potential, and following that there will be a brutal air mass moving into the central and eastern part of the country. That air mass had its origins in Siberia, and it'll make next Tuesday and Wednesday bitterly cold all around the eastern half of the nation. The very latest surface map shows this next in a series of Arctic fronts that will move into the coastal regions later on today. It could set off some snow shower activity, especially north of the Mason-Dixon line, later in the afternoon into the early part of the evening. That will not amount to much. Then this high pressure will edge in for the next 24 hours or so. Again, snow showers possible early tonight. We'll get out of here, and temperatures will plunge way back down into the single digits overnight tonight. Again, the third night in a row. Tomorrow will be another day with high temperatures having trouble escaping the teens, and there will be even lower wind chill values as well. Well, we showed this loop yesterday. This comes from the University of Wisconsin AOS weather website, and what it has is a GFS forecast model run of 850 millibar temperatures and over the next 8-day period. And I just want to show again where this air mass is originating that will invade the eastern part of the country about next Tuesday and Wednesday. Here at the beginning of this is the North Polar region right here. Here it is right here. This air mass crosses the pole, drops southward into southern Canada, and then finally into the U.S. And again, it looks like it may take a wave of low pressure to really usher that into the northeastern part of the country. That wave of low pressure will come on around Monday. And following that, this brutally cold air mass, which again originates up here. This is a northern hemisphere projection right here over the North Pole, crosses the pole into southern Canada. Here's the U.S. down in here, and it tends to rotate around. And again, it looks like it'll wait to really flood the northeastern part of the country on Tuesday and Wednesday until that wave of low pressure passes on by on Monday. and that particular system has some potential to develop into a mid-Atlantic storm. We'll have to monitor that over the next several days. So again, Arctic outbreak after Arctic outbreak, and one of the worst will be this one that reaches the eastern U.S. next Tuesday and Wednesday. Well, let's jump ahead to the weekend here using last night's Zero-Z GFS model run. We'll look at Saturday morning, then Saturday early afternoon, then Saturday evening, and then we'll look at Sunday morning and Sunday evening's forecast maps. This is a pretty healthy looking Arctic frontal system headed our way for Saturday. This is again Saturday morning, still dry here early in the day along the I-95 corridor, but fair amount of moisture associated with this Arctic frontal system that will be bearing down on the Ohio Valley come early Saturday morning. Let's now jump ahead to early afternoon on Saturday. And here we are early afternoon, and the GFS is putting out a little healthy looking area of precipitation in the form of snow from just on the north side of D.C. all the way up across eastern Pennsylvania into southeastern New York. So again, it looks like there will be some snow on Saturday, perhaps an inch or two in southeastern Pennsylvania and New York City region, maybe a little bit less than that in the D.C. region. We'll continue to monitor this. Let's now jump ahead 6 hours later. Still some light snowfall being depicted here by the GFS model run, and colder air is now flooding in to the region. Saturday we'll see temperatures perhaps reaching the freezing mark in the I-95 corridor, somewhere in the low 30s as that snow falls, and then that'll be followed by a much colder day on Sunday. High temperatures struggling to get above 20 degrees in many mid-Atlantic locations as an Arctic outbreak moves into the region on Sunday. And here's that next wave of low pressure that we'll have to watch. This is way out here in the northern plains as of Saturday evening. Let's now jump ahead to Sunday morning. And here's the forecast map for Sunday morning. That particular wave of low pressure drops southeastward at this point, and now currently the GFS model continues to move this to the east-northeast, kind of north of the I-95 corridor region. We'll look at the Sunday evening forecast map in a moment. That is a key to this forecast, and I think there is potential that over the next day or two the track may end up dropping farther and farther to the south and east, and if indeed that does drop to the south and east of the mid-Atlantic I-95 corridor, that could pose some trouble in terms of snowfall on Monday. This definitely bears watching and has some similarities to the upper air pattern that was featured in the snowstorm a couple of days ago, namely an impressive upper-level shortwave rotating around the base of a long wave trough. Let's now jump ahead to the Sunday evening forecast map. And here it is, and again, the GFS is currently moving this basically north of the I-95 corridor in this fashion, like drawn on here with this arrow. That could very well change over the next day or two. We'll continue to monitor this. Quite an impressive wave associated with this. Again, it may end up going farther to the south and may develop off the mid-Atlantic coastline. Again, we're talking here on Monday, the potential for some snow on Monday. No matter which track this takes, this is a brutal air mass that is anchored by this tremendously cold Arctic high pressure system over central Canada that floods the central and eastern part of the country next Tuesday and Wednesday. Well, that's it for now. For the SIWeather.com, I'm meteorologist Paul Dorian.